I'm Terrell Thomas, and I'm sitting down with the wonderful ladies who are doing their thing in the Atlanta area. You may have seen them recently on the TV screen near you. They have a very dope pop culture show, Central Ave. We'll talk about the show. We'll talk about working with Will Packer. But first, I want to thank Julissa and Sanya for sitting down and speaking with us today. How are you ladies doing?
Oh, we're great. We're happy to be here virtually with you.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Now, it's very dope to actually sit and speak with both of you. I've been following both of y'all career for a very long time. So it's dope to see you ladies together and doing great things. Are you currently in the Atlanta area, or are you doing it virtually? How?
Oh, yeah. I am literally in Midtown Atlanta right now.
Okay.
On 12th Street. That was probably too much information, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to give away too much information on where you ladies are staying. But it's very great to have you in Atlanta. But talk to me, and Julissa, we'll start with you. And I want to know, how did this project all come about? We hear about so many great things. We've seen so many great things in which Will Packer has brought us from movies and television shows. But this is the first time I believe he's actually dived into having I don't want to say a talk show, because it's not necessarily a talk show, but an informative
entertainment news magazine show.
There we go. I like that a lot. How did the concept come together, and how did you ladies come together and join together to work with Will?
I mean, Will Packer. This is a form of manifestation and basically full circle moment for me personally, because I've been following his Rainforest Productions when he was doing that, or Rainforest Films, I think was the name of it, back in the day. And I just remember I saw something of his and I said, wow, this guy's producing really dope stuff, and I want to see where it goes. I want to follow it. And then obviously, switched to Will Packer Productions, and then this grew. And then, as you can imagine, how excited and elated I was when my agent calls me and says that Will Packer is putting together this entertainment news magazine show with Monique Chanel, who is a woman that I admire, being in entertainment for so long, the first Black woman to be a showrunner at Entertainment Tonight. So they joined forces, and they thought that there was a void in this entertainment news space, because you've been seeing the same shows for so many years. I don't feel like I have to name them. I'm sure you're familiar with them, and they've looked the same for all of these years that they've been on. And this was the first time that they thought it would be great to actually have two women of color in front of the camera, and also have that same diversity behind the scenes. So it was amazing to get the phone call, and then to audition, and then meet Sanya at the audition and have this instant chemistry. And the journey that it's taken, a lot of people would never know that this is our first season, and we've been in it now for almost 2 years to get to this point. So it's been an amazing ride so far, and we just want everybody to watch so that we can continue to be on this journey.
Sonya, you bring a different perspective, being as though you have a sports perspective.
Yeah.
Of course, being an Olympian, and your family pretty much being involved in the sports world. So talk to me about how everything came about for you, and how it feels to be in this opportunity, as Julissa just mentioned, two women of color providing us with this great entertainment information.
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, for me, as I transitioned out of sports, I wanted to be on television. And, for most athletes, we go into calling sports. And I was very prayerful about, I wanted to do something outside of sports. I wanted to blaze a trail for other women in sports to say, we can do things outside of sports. And so I couldn't believe when my agent called me and said that Will Packer and Monique wanted me to come and audition. And like Julissa said, it was a process, but it has been so incredible. And I really think when we think about, the times right now, we talk about the show being the right show for right now. We have seen the power of the athlete in so many ways, where athletes are no longer just dribbling, right? Like, athletes are out there using their platforms and being bold and stepping outside of our traditional realms. And so I just feel like this is a continuation of that Will Packer honored as well, and Monique, by allowing me to be in this platform, because, we do not sit outside of a vacuum. We are so much a part of, the thread of culture. And so to be able to merge all that, my passion for sports and for pop culture, has just been incredible.
What do you ladies think of the city of Atlanta so far? How has Atlanta? I know that things are, we're still in the middle of the pandemic. Of course, I realize that. That's one of the main reasons we're actually doing the virtual interviews today. So I know you may not be getting the full experience, but how has the city of Atlanta treated you so far, and how has production been? How has production been with you ladies being on the set in these tough times?
I love ATL. I have cousins in Smyrna, so I've been visiting them for quite some time and always thought to myself, I feel like I could live here. And I've done work here before. I actually shot Meet the Browns back in the day with the first Tyler Perry studio, and then with Central Ave, got a chance to cover the opening of his amazing new studio. I mean, acres on acres. And it's speaking of Tyler Perry, this weekend on Central Ave, we have an amazing story on Tyler Perry's journey and the way he has done the pandemic pivot, and how he just everything that he's done for the entertainment business, and the power of Tyler Perry. So if you guys are inclined to watch that this weekend on Central Ave, I think it'd be really dope. And yeah, just being here in the South just offers that hospitality that no other place does. And I think that also helps as far as production during a pandemic. Sanya, we talk about this all the time. We are literally one-man band, having to put everything together ourselves, hair, makeup, interviews like this, setting up lighting. We've learned a lot. Would you say that is right, Sanya?
Absolutely. You don't know what you can do until you have to. But, the A has been really good to me too. One of the things, like you mentioned, we were here for the test when there wasn't a pandemic, and I was out and about, and the love, it's just been amazing. I have a family, I have a young son. And I think the main thing that made me feel like this could be my new home was, I'll tell a quick story. I was at a little kids playground thing, and Juicy had run off playing. And this man was in it's called Catch Air. And he held his hand and walked him up the stairs to go, down the slide. And I thought to myself, there's something amazing about being in a city where, you feel almost like family, because you see so many minorities, some people that look like you. And this man just saw my son and just treated him like his son. And in Austin, where I lived before, it's 6% Black. And so you don't always feel that kind of connection immediately to people. So Atlanta has been great. We feel very welcomed here. We feel like we're at home, and I love to see so many successful minorities. It's so inspiring, and I'm excited for my son to see that as well.
And being a New York native, let me tell you, you get way more bang for your buck. So Atlanta, I appreciate that so much.
That is very true. That is very true on all angles. The Southern hospitality and the bang for the buck make the a great place to be and a great place to stay.
The quality of life you see it's instant difference. You can tell.
How have you ladies been going about actually getting the stories? As we mentioned, once again, these are very difficult times. So just say doing different research or reaching out to people and conducting a story, being able to story tell is already a difficult process. There are a lot of tedious things that are involved with that. So coming up with different stories and still staying with your ears and your feet to the ground, how has that process been?
Yeah, it's been really good. The best part about what we do is our team. Like, we're very fortunate to stand in front of the camera, but when I tell you we are deep behind the camera, and their expertise, their passion is just incredible. And so, we've had to pivot, like Julissa says. We're doing a lot of our interviews virtually. We're all on our computers, our phones every day. We share information via text because we're not going into the office like we did every day last year, where we're able to really communicate in person. But everybody seems to be handling it very well. And so we have a team of researchers, of editors, we have, show producers, and they do a phenomenal job once we have our morning meetings and everybody kind of throws out their ideas of digging deeper and finally figuring out what's the best story for us to tell this week that we can tell in a unique way that's informative and authentic. And so, we're all doing our very best. And when I watch the show, I'm really proud of all of our work.
I think the biggest challenge, to be honest with you, when it comes to the stories is really figuring out, in these times that we are living in, like you mentioned, they are difficult, and they're difficult for everyone across the board. So how do you find that relatability in entertainment news, magazine shows? How do you figure out how to connect with an audience that's already going through so much, because our average viewer, maybe they don't want to hear about celebrities. Maybe they feel like, how can I relate to a celebrity during these times? Well, you actually realize by watching a show like Central Ave and the way we investigate the stories and the way we really dive so deep, that you'd be surprised how much pop culture and entertainment and entertainers influence your day-to-day life, whether it's going out and voting at the polls, whether it's with the Black Lives Matters movement, you know, all of these things that are currently happening during a pandemic. You'd be surprised how much influence that you maybe never thought about before actually is right in front of what you're scrolling through every day and what you're consuming as someone, as a day-to-day person. And a lot of the times it is entertainment. And you think that you know because of the headlines, but when you watch a show like Central Ave, the reason why we say it's the right show for right now is because you're gonna see yourself in these stories as well.
Well said. Well said. One thing I do is think that's very, very powerful right now, as we mentioned, that we're seeing people of color and women of color at the forefront with everything that's been taking place and the social injustice that's been going on for years. But it seems that with all the tragedies and things that have come about in 2020, that it's been a very tough and difficult year. Sanya, I want to start with you on this one because you have the background in sports. We've seen how sports, women in sports, whether it's in the WNBA, we've seen it transition into the tennis. We've seen it in an array of different sports, and once again, from people of color. The NFL is currently going on. The NBA is currently going on. MLB. It's so many different things at once, something that we've never seen before. How do you think both women of color and athletes have used their platforms, similar to how you ladies are using your platforms in these times? How do you think our voices are being heard and your voices are being heard in these tough, difficult times?
I mean, there's never been anything like it. When I look out into the landscape and I see athletes from every sport, you talk about basketball, LeBron James, tennis, and the WNBA, from whether it's the t-shirts, even on the courts itself, you know, athletes are now more emboldened to be able to really speak up and not have the fear of being ostracized for using their platforms for good. I look out at Tamika Mallory and other women of color who are also on the front lines, who are demanding justice and demanding change. And I just feel so empowered. I feel so inspired. And I'm just so grateful that as a country, we are all like leaning into this. I know that we still have a long way to go. And there are people out there that still don't realize the implicit biases and the injustices that happen in our communities. But I feel like when you look and you see the kind of marches and the stances, it's people from all ethnicities, all walks of life who are like, wow, I can no longer turn a blind eye to this. Like, this is real. And so I just commend and applaud everyone who uses their platform to shine a light on this. And I pray that we'll continue to push forward and see the kind of changes in our communities that we all deserve.
Thank you very much. Ladies, this has been amazing and great to sit and actually talk with you ladies. And going forward, I wish you nothing but the best and nothing but great luck in these tough times, getting out the stories and everything. Could you please let our audience know when exactly they can check the show out and how they can follow both of you ladies via social media?
For sure. We are on weekends. You guys can check your local listings. We will most likely be on a Fox station or a CBS affiliate station in your city. You can go on centralavtv.com and check local listings, and you will see a swipe down list of every state with every city where you can find us. And you can hit us up on Central Ave TV on Instagram. I'm actually going to be going on Instagram Live tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. on the West Coast, so you guys can hang with me before you get to watch Central Ave. And we're going to be talking about some of the stories that you can look forward to this weekend that we covered. And you can also hit us up on our personal social media, slide in the DMs, if you will, at official Julissa B, and on Twitter at Julissa B.
And I'm at Sanya Richards-Ross.
Thank you, ladies, very much. Enjoy your time here in Atlanta, and hopefully we'll speak with you again soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sanya.